Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, friends. Welcome to the Marketing Your Practice podcast. How are things for you? In today's episode, I want to share with you one of the really interesting learnings that I've had from many of the chiropractors, naturopaths, podiatrists that I coach at the moment to help them with their marketing. But particularly, I'm going to be talking about what I've learned helping them with their videos. Now, a number of years ago, I had a CA that worked for me. Drew was his name. One of the best CAs I've ever had. He was extraordinary, had a background in personal training beforehand. And he was totally obsessed with the Landmark Forum. So I don't know if any of you guys have done the Landmark Forum. It's personal development trainings. I did a number of their trainings. They're amazing, but they're so full on. Their marketing process with it's about the only thing I disagree with. It's so pushy, in some ways overbearing, and I don't mean this to offend anybody there too, but the content is so good, but it just drove me away. It's like I had to kind of sell my soul and join then and bring every friend that I possibly had into the Landmark Forum. That's a side point. I don't want to talk about the marketing side of the Landmark Forum. I want to talk about some of the key distinctions I got from the Landmark Forum. They talk about this concept of distinctions, little learning modules through there too. One of the things they talk about there is this concept of being in the stands or on the court. And it says, they ask a question of where are you in life? Are you looking upon life from up in the stands? Now, in the stands, you get to watch what's going on. You get to comment on life, and often we do comment on life and have an opinion on it. In fact, more often than not, the people that are commenting on life, that are having an opinion on life, are actually people in the stands, not the people that are actually on the court. Now, here's the good thing about being up in the stands. When you're up in the stands, you've got very little at risk. You definitely can't lose when you're up in the stands. But here's the other thing you can't do. You can never win. Okay, you can never actually get a result when you're in the stands. Now, when you're on the court of life, then yes, what you risk there is failure. You risk a level of embarrassment if that's the way that you want to see it there also. But here's what you get an opportunity of. You get an opportunity, absolutely, for success. You get learning, you get experience, and that key distinction through there is something that has really stayed with me. And it was it's a decade or so longer that I really went along to Landmark Forum. I was talking this morning, a great guy who I coach with, who when he started with me, he's been in practice for a number of years, I guess, and I don't have his permission to say his name, so I won't, but I'm guessing, 20 plus years in practice. And so he's completely new to this whole social media game. His website was terrible. He'd never made a video. He'd never done any of those kind of things. And over the last 2 months, he's just been the best student ever. He's been learning new things and he's been implementing. And here's what he's been, a coaching conversation with him this morning. He's been on the court. Since day number one, he's went, I'm going to push all this to the side. I'm going to get on the court. He's been totally up for failure. He's been totally up for learning. But in the process for this too, he's just ticking off win after win after win. He's got people watching his videos. And as a part of lots of the things that he's doing, he was telling me this morning that his practice has more energy and is busier than it has been for ages, because he's not only on the court with the videos that he's making, he's on the court with everywhere. And this is not going to be a long episode, but it is one that I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, where are you at the moment? I think we can probably be in the stands and on the court in different areas of our life. Some areas of our life, and maybe even some areas of our practice, we're absolutely on the court, we're playing the games, maybe with the way we're communicating with our patients, managing our staff. But maybe when it comes to, making a video or your social media outreach, putting yourself out there to have an impact on more people, maybe that's where you're sitting in the stands and that you're worried about failure, you're worried about people not liking you, you're worried about what if I get rejected, all these kind of things there too. When you're in the stands and you're worrying about those kind of things there too, there's no chance for success. In essence, that worry that comes from being in the stands almost has a level of impotence with it as well. So, where are you? Are you in the stands or you're on the court? If you're not on the court, then my greatest wish for you, my absolute greatest wish, is that you start to spend more time on the court. Okay, over these recent episodes, we've been talking about things like failure tolerance, having a different way of thinking about what happens when stuff doesn't work out. I talked about the golden rule of marketing, and remember recently I told you that what nobody tells you about marketing is that you'll fail more times than you will succeed. couple of episodes ago, or depending on which order they came out, I told you the story about Gordon Ramsay and the enormous level effort that he was on the court from day one. It doesn't surprise me that if you haven't listened to that episode, I think it'll be 158. Go back and listen to that. 158, 159. 159, I think it'll be there too. And I talk about what I learned from Gordon Ramsay. So if you're not on the court, it's time to get on the court. That's where all the spoils are. That's where the joys of life are. Yes, it's where the pain is too, but it's also where the joys are. When you're sitting up in the stands, there's nothing to be gained from there. Gang, that's it. A short little one for you today. As always, thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. I love you all. See you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out the Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work one-on-one with you to apply, implement, systematize, and help guide you and your practice to the next level. Now you can join me on over at adiomedia.com/join. That's adiomedia.com/join. I'd love to see you in there.